So here we are, Karma Conversations once again. And today I'm so excited because I'm back with my dear friend, SatJiwan Karkalsa. And we wanted to get together today because we're so excited about our upcoming fall cleanse again. And it's the Healing for Life Ayurvedic Fall Cleanse with SatJiwan. So thanks again for joining me.
Yes, I'm so grateful to be here. I love talking about this cleanse. Healing for Life cleanse. This is my own personal cleanse that I've developed. It's based on ancient Ayurvedic philosophy and technology. So it's rooted in all of that, my deep study of that. I lived in India for many years, though I loved Ayurveda even before I lived there. But it's when it really rooted itself in me on a cellular level when I lived there and studied with a couple of different Ayurvedic masters over my 8-9 years living there. And I ended up developing my own cleanse for me personally just over the years. And it's now turned into me offering this to my clients that I work with, my different students. And now gratefully, I'm bringing it back to Karma Yoga for the second time. We did one in the spring, which was just absolutely delightful. And Catherine has her own experience with that, which I'd love for her to talk about that a little bit, because it's just, the proof is right there in the, seeing and the feeling. But we're doing it again this fall. So that part is really amazing. I love any time I get to be with the Karma Yogis. It's a special family, and I'm so grateful to be part of that and to be coming back.
Oh, thank you. Well, let's talk about the spring cleanse, because I did get to personally go through your entire journey, and it was something I've never experienced before in a cleanse. So I can testify that it was beyond remarkable. Your guidance, your loving hand, your personal connection to all of us through it, and really helping each one of us for where we were at. And that's what's so special about your cleanse, is everybody's going to be at a different level of cleansing, or what they're comfortable with, or what they're going through. And you were so available. You held our hand through everything. And that's so great. And you're going to go through the details of what the course, entails and what I'm talking about. But this was a 4-day cleanse, and I've done 7 days in 2 weeks. And I had more shifts in 4 days than I ever had in 2 weeks or 7-day cleanses. And I was just discussing with SatJiwan that I saw some pictures of myself right after the cleanse that I had taken for random reasons. And then I looked at those pictures the other day, and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I look so clear, so bright, no dark circles. And I'm seeing myself now, which I'm not saying I look bad, but I can see the difference, because I've been working a lot this summer and really busy. And it's just not right after the cleanse now. And what a difference I can see in myself in those pictures. And people were saying that when I got back here in Michigan, oh my God, you look so bright, you're so light, because I had just come off, and I really wasn't off it yet. Your cleanse ended and we got in the car and drove up here. And I really took a long time, what's the word? Transitioning. Transitioning out of the cleanse. And I can't, there are some things, or many things I'm not doing now every day, but a lot of the diet though has stayed with me.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And I mean, you just said so much in there. There's so many points that so many of us can relate to in our life. One, you talked about where you've been since the spring season, or since you did that last cleanse, is busyness, right? There's a lot of vibration that happens in the Pitta season in summer. We're vivacious. We're like superheroes. I mean, we just do so much. And the season and the elements can carry us through all of that, which is amazing. We get so much done. We're so full of life. And then fall comes. And so between that summer superhero us and that fall going more introspective and tilling our own, land and all of that, there has to be some devotion to the consistency of what we're doing, or resetting the rhythms of what we're doing. And like you said, many of the things you're still consistent with because one, your years and years of practice with all of these things, right? That they just click in for you, but also you found such deep value in them for you that you just continued on with them. And that happens over working with these different rhythms, the dinacharya, which that word is a beautiful word. It's a combination of two different words, din, which means day, and charya, which means that which you follow, or that which you're devoted to. So it's quite simply just the things that you do every day in your life. And we can look at that and say, wow, I do some things in my life that I'm not sure those are really allowing me to thrive. They might be more depleting. And then we can look at that and say, oh, there's actually some things in my life that I do that really nurture me, that are really in that category of self-care and self-love. And those are the ones that we want to put the focus on, and then bring those up a little bit and not even worry about the other ones very much, and that's what this cleanse is all about. Like Catherine was explaining, it's very nurturing. It's about self-care. It's about self-love.
Yeah.
I cleansed for many years, very intense cleanses. The teacher that I studied with for, in the very beginning of my yogic path, I tried a lot of different ones. And the one that I ended up studying with was very intense. And I did a lot of mono diets and very intense things. And so I came from that schooling that if it isn't intense, it's not worth doing. And that was very depleting for me personally in my consciousness, in the way that I dealt with my life and everything. And it took me years to realize, wait a minute, this can be different. I can choose how this is. And that was really the turning point for me to start make those choices. And it took me a long time, slowly did that process. And this is how this cleanse was born. And it really is different from every other cleanse. It's not about depletion. There is no reason to feel depleted during this cleanse. I mean, you may think like, oh, I'm missing this, or I'm missing that, or normally I'd be doing this. However, the self-care rituals are the things that are the most important. And so you come away having a greater relationship with yourself and with your choices. And above all, and at the bottom line, that's what I like to deliver, that people understand that that's what this cleanse is about, is you choosing you in each moment, and having that devotion to yourself.
So that's what I'd like to say again. And I said this before when we've talked. I get excited for a cleanse because I put it on my calendar, like this is going to be me time, my self-care time. I'm going into like spa time. I call it my spa. I almost think we should even change the name from cleanse to healing to like spa time. And then I announce it like to my household, Mike, that I'm going to be doing this. And I have things set up in the kitchen, and in this bathroom is for this, and this bathroom's for that. And I get excited and I start planning way ahead because it's a gift to me.
Yeah.
And I have a busy life like everybody else, but so I really need to plan this gifting me time, or we won't do it, this self-care time.
Right.
And I fall into it like I am so in love with, oh, tonight's my oil, tonight's my bath, tonight. And it's not a big commitment out of my life. It's just 4 days,
I know, 4 days.
Right.
It's like, boom, that's a long weekend. I mean, it's just.
But the dramatic difference that you can happen in 4 days from this cleanse blew me away. I saw it in the pictures.
Yeah, and I wanted to speak to a little bit about the science or the biology of that time period. So there's in Ayurveda we obviously deal with it on a regular life, whether we have a relationship to it or not. So I like to come back to the Ayurvedic technology theory, the relationship of these things. There's cycles that happen, and these cycles happen within an hour. They happen within a day. They happen. We get 2 full cycles through all of the elements in every day. And so within a 72-hour period, we actually go through our whole being within that 72 hours, and everything within our body on a cellular level gets copied within that 72 hours. So on a very basic, broad stroke, we're new within that 72 hours. So this 4 days is set up to give us that 72-hour cycle with a little bit of time to just kind of get in and get out. but to have that 72 hours where we are completely, compassionately, consciously choosing what
Mhm.
we're doing for ourselves in that 72-hour period. And then you get this wonderful touchstone of like, wow, I function differently when I get to make choices like that.
Mhm.
I feel differently. I look differently. People are actually having a different experience with me when I make choices like that. Doesn't mean you've got to go on and do these for the rest of your life just like that. It means you then get to choose and reflect. Do I want to carry any of these into my life on an ongoing basis? And also, you always can come back to these things and repick them up once you've had this experience with them for this amount of time. You own your body has a connection with them, and you can pick them up at any time and use them. And
Mhm.
it's pretty phenomenal to have something that's that accessible after just doing it for such a short amount of time.
Right. And you, like you're saying, you can, insert some of these things anytime throughout the year. Or like
Yeah.
me too, I'm just really excited to know I've got this spa time for me in October.
Yeah.
And,
I love
and when did we do the other one? April?
April. Yeah.
April.
Yeah.
At least I can look to those, that these are my bookends for
Yeah.
real spa time for myself. And then I can sprinkle in the elements throughout the 6 months.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that really, in Ayurveda, these are the really important times to do a cleanse. You can do a cleanse at any time.
Mhm.
However, these changes in the season, when we're going from winter into
Mhm.
spring and when we're going from summer into fall, these are the very important seasons to really cleanse. And the reason we want to cleanse is we get so many things that are depleting just from our normal environment, from the water we're drinking, from just the pollution, pollutants, which is everything from like when we're filling up our car with gas, or when we're driving around, or when we're walking around, we're just constantly in
Mhm.
things that are depleting us, and we have to be able to let those flush out. And that's really what a fall cleanse and a spring cleanse is all about. And so, like Catherine said, to start to have this consciousness of bookending, that you're setting an intention to do this at these two times, and just set that intention. Get started with one, see what happens 6 months
Yeah.
later. You ready to
And
do
I'm
it?
already looking forward to it. I'm
Yeah.
excited to know that that's on my calendar.
Yeah, that it's here.
I'm feeling ready. I'm feeling ready as we turning in August. You can feel it turning in.
Yeah, you feel it just coming right down the road. Yeah, you
Mhm.
can see it ahead. It's so true. And like I said, summer we're really just high on that pitta energy, and it dwindles. We all know it dwindles. The days are going to get shorter,
Mhm.
and we're going to have less of that solar energy. We're going to have less of that prana, that life force. It is going to happen. It's going to get windier. We're going to start to just kind of woo.
Mhm.
And there's just bliss in that, to become more meditative automatically. That's the beauty about fall. You can do more pranayama very easily. You can bring these things into your life. And with a consciousness, you can just set right into that rhythm,
Yep.
just like the season does. Without a consciousness, if we're saying, oh, but I'm doing this, my schedule has been this, I want to hold on to this, that's where it gets challenging. That's where we really start to go into a heavy depletion, or rhythms of disease where the body is out of alignment.
Right.
And when we do this fall cleanse, we're really moving stuff out, and it's deep rooted things. If we hold on to them into fall and into winter, they're in there. And it's things like deep seasonal allergies, flus, colds, all this kind of stuff, especially where we are right now in our universal consciousness of illness. We want to be clean, right? We want to go in and keep everything just as tidy as possible, get the dust out, get all those pollutants out, and just do it every 6 months to just.
That's a good point about this consciousness right now that we've been in. What we were talking earlier, is it 18 months now or something?
Yeah.
I believe, I don't know how you feel, but I believe it's all about our health.
Absolutely. I agree.
At this point. Yeah. It's all about how healthy are we.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the course details.
Yeah.
That the cleanse is actually October 17th through the 20th, but there's a lot of little moving parts to it all. So SatJiwan's going to take us through that. And I just want to say that, like, even before the cleanse, and she'll tell you about, is the intake call, which is so great. And remember, we went through my intake call, and I said, I'm getting headaches, or I'm not sleeping well. Let me tell you, besides seeing the difference in the camera photos, oh my God, I was sleeping amazing after the cleanse. Everything did reset, readjusted. And that's what these cleanses do. They reset ourselves, right?
And in a super gentle way, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's so interesting. Every time when someone's doing this that hasn't cleansed before, because I get tons of people that have never done any of this before, and it's great. You don't have to have there's no prerequisites for this other than being a human. And honestly, Kitchery, your dogs could do it too. So really, maybe not even that. But really, it's so interesting because you look at it on paper and you think, how is this stuff really gonna do anything for me, right?
Mhm.
Taking a shower, scrubbing my body, rubbing myself with a little oil, taking a bath. How is this really gonna change my life? And how is this really gonna bring my health and well-being up a notch? I don't know. I can't imagine this is gonna really do it. And let me tell you, every time the feedback, and I know because I do it myself and I know exactly what it is,
Mhm.
it's amazing. It is like exponential what happens.
Yeah.
And through these simple practices that we don't necessarily make enough time for in our
Right.
lives, really. And when making a commitment to this, you're going to have me there to support you to make the time for these things. You have that group energy as well. We do group check-ins.
Yeah.
It's all there. The support is all there. And the other flip side of that too is it's not heavy. If you're like, oh, I didn't get my this in, that's no problem.
Mhm.
There's no guilt in this. There's no shoulds in any of this. It's just a
Mhm.
wonderful thing that's set up that is set up in a beautiful way that you don't have to think about it. Everything is laid out so nicely. I have a checklist. You just check things off. And
Yep.
if you don't get to check that box off that day, there's no problem. And when we talk, we have individual, I have personal calls, 2 of them throughout, and I do an intake, like Catherine was talking about before. We do a pre-cleanse call. You get this wonderful form beforehand, before that call, where you really get to write out things. I give you questions to answer. It's a questionnaire. And then we talk about that so that I really know exactly what you're working on while we're doing
Mhm.
this. So it's a group cleanse, energetic wise, which is great. And at the same time, it's very individual. So you don't
Yeah.
get lost in this. You know, oftentimes, especially the strongest women or the strongest men, the strongest people, will often get lost sometimes in the group or elements because they will just think, well, I don't need to work. You know, I can do it. I can do it. I can put up with it. I can do it. I don't need to talk about those things and I can survive it. So that's the beauty of this, is that we get down deep into those things very gently, very easily. But I think Catherine can attest to this. Like, we get down deep and we
Yeah.
uncover things that even we didn't necessarily know as the participant, that we were going to go through those things. And
Right.
sometimes it's like a little like, wow, oh, that's there.
Mhm.
Hey, let's do some work on that. Let's have the time.
Yeah. And I love that you give us the freedom to reach out to you at any time. And oh my gosh, I loved your little texts every morning,
No.
and you would come in at night, and you were so personal as well as a group cleanse. So,
Yeah.
but I want you to get to that, all the course details. And then SatJiwan's going to take us through, which is the amazing second part to this, is you have all the products that support the cleanse. You make it so easy if we choose to purchase them.
Yeah.
And why your products are so amazing. I gift them to everybody. So
Yeah.
why don't you take us down step by step through the course details?
Okay. All right, perfect. So we do really need to sign up early for this, because as you can tell already, we're talking about all these little details. There's just a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving pieces. And I like you to go into it in a state of ease so that we are really prepared and it feels easy. And, you know, though you may get overwhelmed when you look at the list of things you're doing that day, we have so much time to prepare for it. And as Catherine was saying, I've created all the products down to the Nourishing Bundle with all the food elements that you could just use those. You don't have to go out and find anything or do anything. It's all there if you want. And you can also do different pieces of that too. If you're like, well, I have this that I like and I want to do this myself, but some of the things are hard. So you can do it either way that you want. And those are always going to be carried at Karma Yoga all the time, but especially during the cleanse times and the pre-cleanse times, we make sure that everything is 100% there and in stock for you. So as Catherine was saying, the dates for the cleanse are October 17th through the 20th. That's a 4-day period. We have an orientation the Wednesday before, and that is the 13th. It's an hour-and-a-half orientation. Prior to that orientation, and that's a group one where we're all virtual in my body. It's a group orientation, which is wonderful because those that have done it before get to talk a little bit. You get all your questions answered that you have before, a couple days before we get started, in a very great way. We all get to see each other. It's just beautiful. It creates that nice little cohesiveness that we're all there together. And then prior to that, the minute you sign up, I send you that nice little pre-cleanse form, little intake form. You fill that out, you get it back to me, and then I schedule with you our one-on-one call. It's about a half an hour, realistically. I mean, sometimes if you're a repeat, we can go through it a little faster. And if we need longer, we take longer. Like Catherine said, I'm very available for this. I just let it flow. There's no intensity to it. It just feels very easy and loving. And we do that pre-call so that you're really get your initial questions answered and you really know what the scope of this is so that you can start to just consciously get ready for things, collect all of, get and gather and purchase all the little things that you need. And again, you can reach out to me at any time, a quick text, an email, phone call. If you're like, now I don't really know how to do this thing, or, oh, I thought this was going to work, but it really doesn't, you know, in actual doing this, the theory works, but this doesn't. So all of that is there. And then during, we have, like I said, individual, you'll have your individual meetings scheduled. We have 2 of those during, just one-on-one call with me. And then we have 3 group check-ins. On the first evening, we have a check-in, and then on the 3rd evening, and then a few days after we're done on a Saturday morning, after we've finished, it's like the 6th day, quote unquote. Right. So we go for 4 days, then there's the day between, and then we have a little wrap up. And then there's a couple wonderful things that happen, energy healing treatments that I do during this, and they're distant.
This is the best part.
Yeah. They really are.
Listen up.
They really are. And they're very subtle and they're very profound. And you just lay down in your home or sit and meditate, whatever, you know, is comfortable and at ease place for you. And it's a half an hour where I do Reiki, Satnam Rasai, and energy healing. I bring a lot of guides and healers and energetics and harmonics into it. And they're profound healings. And those happen on the 2nd and the 4th evening, 8 to 8:30 Eastern time.
Again, more spa time. It's like you plan for them. It's so lovely.
And they can even be done while you're taking your evening bath. I've definitely had people say, oh my gosh, I'm going to be, and that's great. Have a healing treatment in the bath. Amazing. Yeah,
in the water element. I like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really luscious. So yeah, it's a self-care cleanse. It has deep roots in the technology of Ayurveda. Like Catherine was saying, I have created this line of products and they really were born out of this cleanse, right? So everything has just been through my own personal path of healing and wellness. And when I can't find what really works for me, I've over time just created it. And that's what this cleanse was. The first couple of times that I offered this years and years and years ago, my clients were like, well, I can't find these things that I need. They're like, I can't find a cold pressed oil. I didn't even know what that is. And I'll take a minute to talk about cold pressed oil and why that's important. It's probably one of the most understood things about our skin pH and our skin biome. We are host to a lot of party of critters in a good way, right? It's all our gut flora and our skin biome. These are things that keep us healthy. So when you have luscious and supple skin with a lot of collagen and elasticity to it, it means you actually have a healthy biome on the top of the skin. Same like with your digestion. When your digestion is strong and really moving things properly, you have healthy gut flora. And these are the same things. They're very, they communicate with each other. They're very much in the same realm. And one of the fastest ways to kill that off and to eliminate your healthy skin biome is with soap. And so I'm not saying don't wash yourself. That is not at all what I'm saying.
Mhm.
But all of this antibacterial and this just the squeaky cleanness that we have come to really look at is like, oh, that's the goal. It's
Right.
really what's killed all of the health of our skin. It's why we have dry skin. It's why we age prematurely. So much skin cancer, it all comes from this. And one of the most beautiful things we can do to reinitiate and recreate that healthy flora on the skin and really be a great host at the party is to use a cold pressed oil and to actually just use it like a lotion. So many people right away say, no, I've used oil before and it's gross, it's tacky, it's sticky. I can't put my clothes on after. That's because it is a heat treated oil and it's gone above the temperature that oil can actually be alive. So it's basically a dead product that we're then putting on, and it suffocates the biome as well. And that's what you're feeling. It sits on
They're
top.
completely different. Completely different.
Absolutely. Yeah. And which Catherine, as soon as she used my oils, she got them and she wrote to me right away, oh my gosh, this is so different. She said,
Game changer. Yeah.
Game changer. So with a cold pressed oil, it is basically a raw food. So the difference between cold and then you'd say, well, then why is anybody even doing this? Right. And the thing is, you get a higher yield with heat. We know this, it goes faster and we get more out of it. However, just looking at a big tub of oil that's been heat treated versus this smaller little life forceful cold pressed oil, that one that's been heat treated is honestly just a big gallon of garbage. It's like a beautiful lightly steamed vegetable versus something that's been deep fried, right? What is the difference of value in that? We know we're going to get more life force out of that. Doesn't mean there's no purpose ever for that fried food. Sometimes fun, yes, but we don't look at that for nutritional value, right? Same thing with a cooked or a heat treated oil. It doesn't have nutritional value to it, and definitely not for the microbe on the skin. They're not looking at that as food. They don't recognize it. They're not going to eat it. It's going to suffocate them, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't smell good. It doesn't work at all for you. So this is the importance of a cold pressed oil. It's actually the only thing that's going to do this. It's the only thing that is going to feed that microbe. And it's interesting, lotions are a real challenging thing because they have such a high content of water in them. And that actually draws water out of the skin. It overfloods the microbe with water. Just like when you're eating, you don't want to put a lot of water in while you're eating. Same thing. When you're feeding the microbe, you don't want to overwater because it really changes the way that they're taking that nourishment in. So over-the-counter lotions and things like that, you can notice like, why aren't they hydrating my skin, or why do I need to put them on all the time? It's because that water element is actually like attracts like. It's pulling that out. It's actually drowning the microbe on the skin. There's a lot going on there. So that's my long answer to why cold pressed oils. The short answer is it actually is feeding your skin and keeping it nourished. The microbiome in your skin is what keeps your skin moisturized, and it makes it glow and feel young, and it helps to process all of the stuff underneath into those 7 layers of the dermis that make that top layer look elastic and young and beautiful. And that's really,
and like, for Mike to comment, like, I think I was day 3 in the cleanse. He's like, oh my God, you're just like glowing.
Yeah.
Men don't usually make that kind of comment or see a difference in your skin so dramatically.
Yeah. So it happens very quickly, and it feels good while you're doing it. It's fun. These products are amazing. So
show if you have two oils.
Yeah. And these oils are Abhyanga oils, which is here. I'm going to do a nice little, there we go.
Perfect.
So you can get a good look at them. So Abhyanga is a beautiful word, and what it means is self-massage. And so in Ayurveda, self-massage with healthy cold pressed oil for your doshic type, meaning that works for your elemental makeup, is beyond nourishing. It's one of the things that if you're going to do one thing, this is the thing to do, that you will see a great difference, not only in how your skin looks and feels, but also how you can greet the day, how you can go through your day. You'll have more energy throughout the day. You're going to get more blood flow into every one of your organs. It just goes on and on. Deep effects. There is a certain way to do an Abhyanga massage. It's not a gentle thing. It's actually very invigorating, and you really work the different parts of the body. So it's a fun thing to start to learn that as you do this. And I have different essential oils in these. The one for the morning is uplifting and a little invigorating. And then for the evening, it's actually very relaxing and also very soothing and nurturing for the different soft tissue, and actually works into being almost like a painkiller because of all the things that it does for nurturing the soft tissue in the body. So it's really very nice to use even beyond.
And because it's cold pressed and it absorbs so readily into the skin, you can go to bed in your favorite clothing or and it's not all over the place. Like I used to hate to do that, and I can slip right into bed. So it's really nice.
And like Catherine said, we used to have clothes specifically for cleansing.
Yeah.
You would just have oil everywhere. I remember when I first got into this path, you would have like your special morning cold shower towel because it would stink like old oil. It was so gross.
And my clothes would be full of oil. And then I think, well, then I'm not absorbing it,
Exactly. And that's the thing, you aren't absorbing it. You can't, because the way that we absorb the oil is that the skin microbe eats it, digests it, and puts it out through. That's how it works through. And that's what's beautifully happening with the cold pressed oils during the Abhyanga. And then in the morning, we get into a cold shower right after. And what happens during that, I know that might scare some people away. It's a short shower. You can work up to what it is. I have lots of different ways to make it very enjoyable. And I will say that because it is enjoyable. And what happens during that is so important because the capillaries open and it really pulls that in and into the bloodstream. So there's just a lot of beauty that happens in the early morning that can really move all of this stuff through the body that during the fall and during the spring that we want to cleanse out. That one thing, that cold shower and that Abhyanga, that little piece that we do in the morning is such a huge piece of it. It does so much. So that's a beautiful part. And then on the other end, the hydrotherapy element is like amazing during this and in your day. And then doing that bath at night, you do the Abhyanga after the warm bath. It's different with the cold and with the hot. The way you do it. And you do that massage after you get out of the bath, and it is just luxurious.
It is.
And at minimum, I offer for you to do a foot massage every night because not everyone can do a whole dry brushing and Abhyanga in the morning and in the evening. So I offer do it in the morning and then do at least a foot massage in the evening. If you can one day out of it, do the whole thing, that's great. Or even afterwards, if you can do one day where you do the whole evening one.
And that's the nice flexibility of your cleanse, because when you work with us individually on our phone calls and everything, you give everybody so much comfortable permission to just do what you can. Try this one night, try that another day. It's not like you got to do every single thing morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's something that really comes with my experience with each of these things. I've done them so much in my own life. I've come from that place of you got to do everything all the time. And I know what that looks like. I also know what it feels like. And I also know I don't retain much in that fierceness.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. I'm in somewhat of survival mode. My nervous system actually isn't in a state of ease. And that's what we're looking for, right? Our nervous system craves consistency. And where we have consistency, that's where our nervous system thrives. Even if it's a habit of consistency that we look at and we go, I don't know if that's really like the most thriving thing for me. The mere fact that there's consistency in it, our nervous system thrives. So it's a very interesting thing to change the way we look at things that we might want to decide to shift in our life. And it can take away this is good and this is bad, right? Because in one thing, it has so many elements to it. So to just be like, that's bad, or that's good, we're taking a lot of the weight out of that.
Well, hence the name of your cleanse, Healing for Life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just to say that your cold pressed oils also follow into your oil pulling blend, your nausea blend.
Yes. So here's an oil pulling blend. Here, I'll let that go for a second so you can see it. So this is something that's very interesting. Oil pulling is phenomenal. And it's also gotten a lot of street cred in the past, maybe like 5-10 years or something. Most people know what oil pulling is now. It's really, there's a whole piece of it with scraping the tongue, which is a little bit becoming a thing that's very important. Get that out first and then do the oil pulling. Oil pulling is really important, not just for the mouth health, but actually all of our organs have sensory within the mouth. So we're really working on the whole body system when we're doing oil pulling. And you can do it more than once a day, morning and night, if that works for you. You can also just do it in the morning or just in the night. At least doing it once a day is wonderful during this cleanse. You can just use a single simple oil. Of course, with any of these products that I've developed, they're kind of like the cream of the crop. They've really gone the whole 9 yards. But you can do very simple versions of these as long as you're doing organic cold pressed raw oils. You can get very simple versions. So don't be.
I have to tell you, my gums and my mouth and everything has never looked so good and so healthy, vibrant.
Yay. So I do blend a couple of different oils and put essential oils in this. It keeps it so that its viscosity is really nice. It also makes it wonderful year round. In Ayurveda, sesame oil is very important for that, the oral health as well. Coconut is, so I do a blend to make this really lovely. It's enjoyable. I remember my first experiences with oil pulling. I'm chewing up hard coconut oil, trying to get it to be soft and viscous, and it was fine. I could do it. It's so luxurious now when I do it, when I blend. It's like, I love it. And so even something as simple as that, yes, we can survive anything. And then how can we adjust something a little bit so that it is an all sensory thriving experience? And that's the difference. Any cleanse will clean some things out of you. This cleanse will teach you how to thrive in every experience of your life.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then just to finish up, you have some amazing detox bath mixture.
Oh, let me show this one first before.
And the nausea oil.
Yeah, this is the nausea oil, and this is a really important little bottle, to be honest. Oftentimes they'll say, if you do one thing, do this. Well, this is one of those things. So if you finish this cleanse and you're like, well, I loved it all, and maybe I'll get around to some of it, or I'll use it in some ways. I often, and depending on what your constitutional makeup is, but for most people, and especially what we're going through right now, karmically as a universe, this is important. You're working with the whole respiratory system, all of the nasal passages, and up into the brain. And as yogis, you're working right up into the pineal and the pituitary. This is very important tissue. And when we do our neti pot and clean it out, and then we lubricate it and really help to transition all of those impurities out of this whole area, it's such a thing. So it's this little tiny bottle that really can serve to negate seasonal allergies, can work through any nasal, respiratory, even asthma, can cure any kind of migraines. I mean, over time using this, the benefits are just like, in the Vedas, the benefits are just like books and books and books of what this one little treatment can do for you.
I can feel it. It's powerful. I love this. That's one of my favorite practices.
Yes, and especially for your constitution, it's really important. So different, it is, but for different reasons, for different constitutions, right? For every constitution, it's going to be very important, and just for different reasons. Like for the
it's right next to my bed, so it like bedtime, sleep.
Good.
I know.
Good.
I love it.
I actually have one that I carry in my bag with me, and I have three. I have one upstairs in my, in my bedroom, and I have one downstairs, and I have one in my bag. Because I do it during the day. If I need it, additionally, I want to be able to.
That's a great idea during the day, just a little.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I make this smaller bottle. Oftentimes you'll see nausea oil put in like a whole big 1 ounce or something like that. I do a 10 milliliter, which is a third of an ounce. One, so that my bottles are small for two reasons. My packaging is so that you can actually carry it with you. You can take it with you when you travel, that it functions that way. I'm adamant about having glass, not plastic, because of the health of the product, and also the health of the user using it, that the amber glass is what's very important, keeps the most light out. It keeps it fresh for you. and your microbe and everything for the longest amount of time. So in that, I make the bottle small enough so you can travel with them, and especially this nasi oil, that it is small enough that you can slip it in your bag. You can take it with you all the time, anywhere.
I need to
And if
get
you
one
do,
for my briefcase.
yeah,
Really.
yeah, for sure. Get, like I said, I've got, I always have 3 going at one time. And then you're going to go through them before they start to deteriorate. That's the other
That's important.
for me too, is that, I know that you're going to be able to go through these before. And the beautiful thing is cold pressed oils have a longer shelf life than heat treated oils, because they have their full life force. And if you treat them properly, meaning keeping them, that's why they're packed in glass and in amber glass, is that they're going to be kept fresh. Also, things, if you use something sometimes, or you just use the cleanse and you're like, oh, I know I'm not going to be able to really do this stuff for a while, you can put your things in the refrigerator and keep them, like, you slow down that clock to 0 then.
Isn't that great?
And then you just bring it out when you're ready to use it again, or that period of time. So it's a really nice way to start to think about your healing products and care for them the same way that you care for yourself, that these products are really an extension of you in that way.
So we have all your products at Karma, and we have them individually. We also have great bundles, so there's a more cost-effective way to purchase them for the cleanse.
Yes. And also, the wonderful thing about our relationship with Karma is that you can have the bundles year round. So if you want to do a cleanse or a little reboot, a month later, 3 months later, anytime when we're not doing group one, you can always reach out to me, and I'm happy to work with you at any time. I run cleanses year round. We can also do longer ones as well. I offer them. But you can also just do your own after you've done this. And so you can hop in and get a bundle at any time. You can do it just to reboot with the nourishment. You can do a reboot with the self-care. You can do reboot with the whole thing. The Nourishment Bundle is amazing because I do everything for you. I do the mung beans and rice. They're all washed. They're all dried. And so they're ready. You don't have to soak them. That's already been done for you. All of the spices have been pre-toasted and then cooled so that they come into the sealed packet. All you have to do is pour that into a pot, add the right amount of water, and bring it to a boil and then simmer. So
this is huge, everybody, that you have everything for us. This is big.
It is. It's really easy. It's just like rip, pour, boil. That's how simple it is. And it's amazing. I mean, I have to tell you, this is the neatest thing to watch during a cleanse, is how healing food is when you have a consciousness with it. So when I make any of my products, I chant. I have certain different chants that go with each product, even the nourishing ones. When I make the ghee for your oilation, there's chanting that happens. It's just beautiful. And the first time you do this is a lot to learn. So you can just get bundles. I love it when I work with people for the first time and they just say, yeah, I want to just dive in and learn all of it. Let me just get these easy bundles. Again, I have made them over years and years of how much it takes. And some people just don't have the time for that. They don't have the free, they want to do this. They want to have the experience. And after you have the experience, you will then know, oh, I want to make this, now I have this recipe for ghee and I know how amazing and what it should feel like, taste like, smell like. I want to try it now.
Yeah.
And that makes a wonderful benchmark or touchstone for you to then really get some good experience with those things. And like I said, you have recipes for everything in the booklet that comes standard in the cleanse, even if you don't do the bundles. I like to be clear, you don't have to use my products. However, they're there to make it easy, just, you don't even have to think about it. So anything when you're like, oh, this is a little overwhelming, that's when I say, just use this. I've spent years making this the best it can be, quality wise and experience wise, so that it is very, very simple and it is in such a nice state of ease. You're going to go through a lot anyway. So the more that you can have it be nourishing and joy and
simple and easy,
filled with self-care, then just the more blissful it's going to be.
And I can tell you that I've used lots of all different products over the years, and when I switched to your products, it's very clear the difference and the energy and the love in them. It's like, how when your grandma makes this favorite recipe and you can't recreate it, because she put her love, her consciousness in it. It's the same with your products. You're there. You're in every little cellular molecule of your products.
It's so true. It's so true. Really, it is my labor of love. I love it. I am never happier than when I am either working with someone on their own self-care process, or if I'm creating something that's going to support someone on their self-care process. My whole company is about, making it like a down comforter for you to lay into your self-care process. I mean, really. And I just bring all of my experience with this healing technology of yoga and Ayurveda, and I bring that to every moment when I'm creating something and when I'm with you in this. And so it does feel complete and it does feel effortless, though it also feels very palpable, and there is room for you in this. So all of those things are present at the same time. And it's no small thing. I will say that. It's taken me a long time to get to the place where I have the ability to be able to facilitate.
Yeah, and that's what we want. We want that experience and guidance from someone like you that has this knowledge and years.
Yeah, and then it's fun, right?
So we will put everything underneath this video, all the details, but just again, the cleanse is October 17th through the 20th, and you need to register by, what's our date?
Our last date is by the 4th
October 4th.
October.
Okay.
And there is a pre-reg, meaning you get a little bit of a discount on price by September 27th. So you can register right away. And the earlier you do this, the easier it is for you. You get to plan everything. You get longer time with me. Like Catherine said, I am 100% available for you through the whole process. So the more, you want more out of this, sign up earlier. Like that's really the beauty of it, because we get started right away. And you can start earlier, and I'm there with you, helping you figure that all out. So it really is the beautiful thing. If you can make that commitment early, you will get a lot more out of it.
Say that the October 17th wasn't available. So you just sign up now and you and SatJiwan start in September or whatever. You guys can have your own. Because Kat did that last time. She had started earlier.
Absolutely. You can do this, and you can do it early and still do and do the cleanse as well. There's just so many options. So it's really beautiful. But yes, if you want to do it, just do it. There's no reason that you couldn't do this. I'll make that very plain and very clear. There's really no reason you couldn't do this. You could even do this while you're traveling, though it's kind of not as amazing, I would say, but you could absolutely do it. There's no reason why you couldn't do that. So yeah, there's no reason. If you're like, oh, I'm thinking about it, just make the commitment to yourself, do it early so you're all set and ready to go. I do want to talk about the baths just for a second. We didn't do that, so I want to just hit those. I have 2 amazing baths that we use in the evenings, and this is one of the most amazing things that we can do is soak in a bath for 20 minutes. It takes the toxins out of literally the organs as well as the skin, and we hold so much tension in those areas. So while we're cleansing, this is such an amazing tool, and these bath blends they're set up to really do this with the different essential oils that are in there and the different salts and Epsom salts and things that are in there. They're set up so that you're really feeling recovered after you do this. So it's really almost like a detox and recovery bath that you're doing every night. So those are really awesome. And like Catherine was saying, you could go in and get some of those things now, try them out ahead of time, try them out and see like, oh, do I want to do this cleanse? Let me try one thing and see how it is. So it's a fun way to do it too.
I love the baths. Oh my gosh. And my skin feels so silky afterwards, where often baths are drying because there's the drawing out the toxins. So you've got all your special magic in those.
Yeah, there's special magic in there for everything. It's so true. There's mantra in everything. And that code is in every cell of the oils and the baths and even the paper that I send you. Everything has, it really does. Everything has that vibration of healing and support for you. And you feel it when you get the things, you open it and you feel it.
Mhm.
And
Very special, done with love. So anybody can reach out to me or you personally and have even a pre-phone call if you're like, oh, I'm not sure. I have a couple questions, right? And they can DM you through social media and your accounts and so on and so forth.
absolutely.
Okay,
I'm so accessible.
perfect. Thank you, my dearest friend, for this lovely discussion today. I mean,
Thank
nothing
you.
better to talk about and spread the word of your divine offering.
Yay. Thank you so much. I love you so much, Catherine. It's always fun when we get to come together and do this. We call it work, but it's just so much fun and play. So I'm so
It
grateful.
is.
Thank you.
Thank you.